When I was 19, I had this experience of fully walking away from the faith that I had grown up with. I've had enough. Done. Can't seem to make this God thing make sense. I'm tired of trying to be a good boy. I sucked at it anyway. This whole moral thing is like going against the grain of my human nature. So I walked away. And my mental construct was, if God exists, then there's some kind of moral structure to the universe. But if God doesn't exist, and I am just purely chance and atoms and whatever, there's no moral structure. Go and do whatever I want, live for myself. And that's what I did. I just did all the things that as a teenager I'd felt God said no to. And the problem was that I actually became more miserable than I had ever been. I thought I was miserable trying to be a good boy and failing at it and feeling guilty all the time. But man, the parties, the drinking, the selfishness, it actually just emptied me. And I felt like I was living in the midst of all the things that I thought I wanted and feeling more empty than I ever had in my whole life. And in that moment, it was there in my emptiness that Jesus walked into my life and things changed. There's a moment in his life where he does the same thing, where he's at this big feast in Israel. It's like everyone has come from other nations, from every part of Israel. They're having the biggest party. Wine, food, everything, markets, family, friends you haven't seen in 10 years. Just imagine it, party of all parties. And Jesus picks that moment and he stands up when everyone's at their fullest and says, if anyone thirsts, let him come to me and drink. And there's this moment for me where I see him saying, all the things you think are going to satisfy you, don't. And he knew it. It's like he looked at me as a partying late teenager, whatever, and say, I know that you're more empty than ever. And so he arrives into our dissatisfaction and he stands up and he says, if you thirst in the midst of everything you're having and all this goodness, come to me and really drink. And he could have said, come to me and get answers. He could have said, come to me and I'll wash you. He could have said anything, but he didn't. He said, come to me and receive deep inner satisfaction. What the food, the sex, the drugs, the career, whatever you want to call it, cannot touch because it can't get into your soul, my love can. And sometimes it's only when we get everything we want and realize that we are still unhappy, that we truly finally understand the worth of God and our need for love.